It started like any other boring Friday, 7th period calculus. The kind of class where everyone is just watching the clock, waiting for the bell, knowing the week is almost over and spring break is right there within reach. No one was paying attention. No one really cared, even our teacher didn't. We didn't have a test that day, unlike most of my friends in other classes, so instead of teaching, he decided to kill time by putting on some random quizzes from Sporkle.com. That's the kind of teacher he was, laid back, easygoing, the type who didn't take things too seriously. We were in the middle of some brand logo quiz. People were laughing, shouting answers. Just wasting time. I remember the exact moment everything changed, right after my friend confidently answered a question. Adidas. The loudspeaker suddenly clicked on. At first, no one reacted. We thought it was just another announcement, but then we heard the dean's voice, and something was wrong. He sounded different, panicked, rushed, almost like he was out of breath. This is not a drill. All teachers go into lockdown immediately. The room went completely silent. I felt it instantly, that cold wave, goosebumps running down my arms. A feeling in my chest I couldn't explain. Even our teacher froze, and for the first time all year, he looked scared. Without saying anything, he rushed to the door, locked it, turned off the lights, and motioned for all of us to get to the back corner of the room. No jokes, no calm explanations, just urgency. We all moved quickly, quietly, packed into the corner like we were trying to disappear. No one spoke. At first, it was just silence, heavy silence, the kind that makes your ears ring. Then about 2 minutes later, something changed. The faint electrical buzzing from the panel at the back of the room suddenly stopped. Everything went dead. The power had been cut. That's when we all looked at each other, and without saying anything, we all understood the same thing. This wasn't normal, this was real. Minutes passed, or at least it felt like minutes. Time didn't make sense anymore. Then we heard it. A scream, not just yelling, a full, unfiltered scream, loud, angry, completely unhinged. It echoed through the hallway, getting closer. 2 girls in my class started crying immediately, and hearing that made everything worse. The screaming got louder, closer, then came the banging. The man was slamming into lockers as he moved down the hallway, metal crashing, echoing, violent. Then we heard him clearly, "I'll kill all of you." That was the moment everything changed for me. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just a lockdown, I could actually die here. Our teacher immediately shushed us, his face pale, eyes wide. The banging got closer, closer, then it stopped. Right outside our door, and then bang, the classroom door shook. Another bang, harder. "Open UP," one of the girls screamed. Another started sobbing uncontrollably. The banging got worse, louder. More aggressive. Each hit felt like it could break the door. It felt like it went on forever, every second stretching longer than the last. I remember looking around at everyone. Seeing fear on every face, real fear, the kind you don't forget, and then suddenly it stopped. The footsteps moved away, the screaming faded, and eventually there was nothing, just silence again. We stayed like that, not moving, not speaking for what felt like half an hour, but was probably only 10 minutes. Then the loudspeaker came back on, the dean's voice again, still shaken. He explained that a mentally unstable man had entered the building. He had assaulted the woman at the front desk. She ran out of the school screaming, and no one knew if the man was armed. The school didn't have cameras, no real security. Anyone could walk in. Staff searched the building, room by room, hallway by hallway, but they couldn't find him. Then came the part that didn't make sense. We were told to resume class, doors locked, no one allowed to leave, like everything was normal again, but it was, not even close. The most disturbing part came later. That night, a janitor found him sleeping in a storage closet somewhere in the back of the school. And according to rumors, something was sticking out of his pocket, a .44 Magnum. No one knows exactly what happened next, but by the time police arrived, he was gone, disappeared just like that. And to this day, no one from my class knows if he was ever found. Sometimes I think about how close he was, how easily that door could have opened, how different things could have been. And sometimes I wonder if he ever came back, Or if somewhere out there he's still walking, still screaming, still looking for a door that someone might open. It started like any normal school day. Our school had 2 lunch periods. First lunch was for all 6th graders and some 7th graders. Second lunch was for the rest of the 7th graders and all 8th graders. Nothing unusual, nothing out of place. The lockdown happened in early October. The sky that day was gray, overcast. Rain hanging in the air, the kind of weather that already makes everything feel a little off. I was in first lunch when it happened. Everything felt normal, kids talking, laughing. Standing in line for food, just another day, then suddenly 4 loud booms. They echoed across the entire campus. Sharp, violent, too loud to ignore. At first I thought it was thunder. It made sense with the weather, but something about it didn't feel right. Before I could even process it, the entire lunch area erupted. Kids started screaming, pushing, running. It went from normal to chaos in seconds. At first I thought people were overreacting, maybe someone got scared, maybe it was nothing, but then campus security rushed in. And that's when everything changed. They weren't calm, they weren't relaxed, they were yelling, "Get inside now!" No explanation, no hesitation, just urgency. Students in the lunch line were forced to throw their food away. Right there, no time to grab anything, no time to ask questions. Everyone was being pushed toward the multi-purpose room. I went with my friends. We didn't argue, we didn't question it. Something felt wrong, very wrong. The multi-purpose room was massive, big enough to hold hundreds of students. But that day, it felt small, crowded, heavy, like the air itself was tense. As we were rushed inside, I noticed something strange. The entire back wall was glass. Normally, you could see outside. But not that day. Campus security immediately started covering it, pulling curtains across every window, blocking the view completely. Then I saw something else. Adults were standing at every single exit, not moving, watching. That's when I realized this wasn't a drill. Everyone around me was whispering, trying to figure out what was happening. Rumors spreading fast, fear spreading faster. My friend Eric decided to ask one of the adults. He walked over, spoke quietly, came back a few minutes later. And when he told us what he heard, everything got worse. He said, "You know those houses right in front of TMS?" I said, "Yeah." Everyone knew those houses. They were close, too close. Then he said, "There's a guy barricaded inside his house." We all went quiet. "He's threatening to kill himself and shoot the cops if they try to evict him." The room suddenly felt colder. But Eric wasn't finished. He's been outside before watching kids. That's when I felt it, that deep, sinking feeling, like really watching them. No one said anything. Then he added one more thing. He's a registered sex offender. That's when fear turned into something else, something heavier. We were stuck in that room for over an hour. No one was allowed to leave, not even to go to class. Time moved slowly. Every sound made people jump. Every whisper felt important. No one knew what was happening outside, and that made it worse. Eventually, we were told it was over. But even then, they didn't just let us go. We were escorted back to class, one by one, like something had happened that they didn't want us to see. Later that day, I learned something that made everything even more disturbing. My friend Brandy told me she lived near that man and she had seen him before, on Halloween, standing at his window. Cutting his own arm, using the blood to write on the glass, "Don't come here or I'll kill you." At the time, everyone thought it was just part of Halloween, a sick decoration, a weird joke. But now we knew it was real. And the scariest part, that man had been that close to our school, watching, waiting. And for one moment, on that rainy October day, we were all trapped just a few houses away from him. I was 22 years old, fresh out of college, and I had just landed a job at my old high school. It felt familiar, almost comfortable, like stepping back into a place I already understood. I worked as a computer intern in the school basement, and the basement was a mess, old wires everywhere, dust, broken equipment stacked in corners. It looked like a place no one really cared about. Except for one room, there was a small office down there, clean, organized, almost out of place compared to everything else. It had 3 large desks, 2 mini fridges, a flat-screen TV mounted on the wall, and air conditioning, cold, perfect air conditioning, something the rest of the school didn't even have. That office was where I worked. And I got the job because 3 of my old computer teachers had always liked me. They trusted me, helped me get in. Honestly, they felt more like friends than teachers. Everything about the job was easy, relaxed, normal, until a few weeks ago. That day, my 2 coworkers, Dave and Gary, weren't in the office. They were upstairs handling something. Leaving me alone in the basement, I was sitting at my desk eating a sandwich, just another quiet lunch break. Then my phone rang. It was someone from the front office. Her voice was tense, rushed. "The school is on lockdown." I froze. She continued, "There's someone in the building, possibly armed." The call ended, and suddenly everything felt different. There wasn't much I could do. The office didn't even have a proper door, just an open entrance. And the main basement door, the lock didn't even work, so I did the only thing I could. I turned off all the lights, shut off my computer screen, and sat there in the dark. I texted Dave, then Gary, no response. Minutes passed. I couldn't hear anything from upstairs, no footsteps, no voices, nothing, just silence. I sat there staring at my phone, trying to distract myself, playing games, waiting. 20 minutes went by, then suddenly the basement door opened. The sound echoed, loud. Metal creaking against metal. I sat up immediately, my heart racing. For a second I felt relief. Maybe it was Dave or Gary, but something didn't feel right. Footsteps, fast. Someone was running down the stairs, getting closer. I pushed my chair back, dropped to the floor, and crawled under my desk. The footsteps entered the office, but the lights didn't turn on. There was just silence. I could hear my own breathing, too loud, too fast. I tried to hold it in. Every second felt like it stretched longer than it should. I knew one thing. If I made a sound, I might not survive it. Then suddenly my phone lit up, a message, and the sound, a single notification. It felt like the loudest thing in the world. My entire body locked up. The footsteps shifted. Closer, closer, right toward me. I couldn't take it anymore. I moved, jumped out from under the desk, hands up, voice shaking, "Don't shoot me, please." Before I could react, someone grabbed my arm, pulled me up. I looked at him. A man, red plaid shirt, jeans, a red and black cap. He spoke calmly, too calmly. "It's okay. I'm hiding down here too." My mind raced. "What's happening upstairs?" I whispered. He ignored the question. Instead, he asked, "Is there an exit down here?" Something felt wrong, but I pointed anyway. "Yeah, over there." Before he could move, I asked, "Who are you?" There was a pause, then he said, "I came to pick up my son. A teacher told me to hide." It sounded reasonable, almost believable. Then I looked at my phone, the message from Dave. "Dude, this is crazy. Some guy with a gun shot Mr. Buckley. He's wearing a red shirt and hat. Whatever you do, don't come upstairs." I read it once, then again, slowly, and then I looked up at the man. Red shirt, red and black cap. My stomach dropped. He noticed, saw it in my face, that moment of realization, and I knew he knew. Panic hit instantly. I didn't think, I just ran toward the stairs. Then, a gunshot. The sound exploded through the basement, louder than anything I'd ever heard. I heard the bullet hit something metal behind me, ricochet into the darkness, but it missed. I didn't stop running. I reached the top of the stairs, burst through the door, and outside, police. Every exit covered. They saw him the moment he came up, and they took him down immediately. Just like that, it was over. Later, we found out Mr. Buckley survived. He had been shot, but he lived. They said the man had some kind of personal issue with him, something unresolved. Something no one ever explained, and even now I still hear it. That gunshot echoing in the dark, because for a few seconds down there I wasn't just hiding. I was sitting in the same room as the man everyone else was running from.